Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Mac,
I'm Pepper.
And I'm Zach.
and today you are joining us on our last leg of the journey from 50 to 1. It is our top 10 games.
Games of all time.
Woo! If you followed along, there's been a lot of contention among the three of us. A little bit of support.
With him at the center most of the time.
And
Yeah,
a lot of board
I feel
games.
attacked. I think I'm giving the best board games.
Sure. So don't forget to go
Most
check out the
diversity.
link below to enter our giveaway.
Yes, we'll be giving away my 30th favorite game of all time, Everdell.
Everdell. So we are going to go ahead and jump right into our last 10. And I will be starting off the party.
Getting emotional.
Well, it's not like we're saying goodbye to them.
Thank God. I don't know what I'd do without these 10 games.
My number 10 is a birthday present from my husband last year. One of the best gifts he's ever given me. Thanks so much, honey.
Wow.
It is Ticket to Ride London.
Ooh, I knew it. That's why I wasn't sure if that other one was going to be on your list. But
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah. So I like Europe. I think it's great. Ticket to Ride London is just a great bite-sized portion of that game. We went to London, and so it's just so happy for me to remember that time. I love the gameplay now that we have realized some of the rules we have been playing wrongly.
At least at 2 players.
Yeah, at least at 2 players. And it's great. It's a quick game. It's one I love to pull out, when we haven't played it in a while. And there's really nothing about it I don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a 15-minute game of Ticket to Ride.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you that same feeling. It's a great introductory game, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I still prefer the bigger Ticket to Ride. I am not like you. I have not moved on from these games that got me into the hobby, and I'm not like, God, just make it a 15-minute game, please. Let me get.
Would you take a 15-minute version of Catan?
Oh, I don't know what that would even be.
I wouldn't either. I don't know if you can do
someone
Catan
make
at
it.
15 to 30-minute version of Catan. It'd be
It'd
interesting.
be interesting.
All right, who's next, boys?
I'll go next.
All right.
This game is what I have written here. Cute AF.
Sushi Go Party.
Sushi Go Party. This has got to be one of the cutest games
The cutest.
ever made.
Mm-hmm.
The art on the cards is adorable.
I
And
just want to
cute,
take all the
and
little food home with me.
every adjective like cute that I can think of, which is like 2. But yeah, all the unique scoring abilities and the variable setups for the game really make it one of my favorites. And it can go at any player count. These guys don't like a 2-player game, but I don't mind it. No,
I think it's just me.
Yeah.
no solo variant, sadly.
Oh, shoot.
Dang it! Otherwise, I could explore that. I could play it every night.
Before he goes to bed. The dreams of the Nigiri.
Sleeps with the tin box.
Which I don't mind the tin box. I don't mind tin. If it's a
No.
smaller game, tin is fine.
Mm-hmm. But Sushi Roll would be better if it became Sushi Roll Party, and we all know it. I had Sushi Go Party as well on my list, and I did not have Sushi Roll.
So he knows.
But
I pretty much include Sushi Roll in this. The Sushi franchise.
Mm-hmm. It's a good choice.
Interesting.
I've got another Stonemeyer game. Surprise, on my
I have
list.
like
Feel
10,
like
of,
there should
10
be a
of
lot
them
of
in
those.
here.
You think there's going to be a lot of them in this final 10?
Mm-hmm. You've only mentioned like 2 of them.
Well, here's one of them. Can you guess which one it is?
Between Two Castles?
No.
Viticulture.
It is Viticulture. Oh, I love worker placement. I love worker placement games, and especially with the Tuscany expansion, this one is just amazing. It is what I think is my favorite farming-related game out of all of them. It feels extremely thematic, especially with the Tuscany board where you've got the 4 different seasons, and you're doing you're able to do different things in each season. It is kind of tough in like a 2-player, 3-player game when there's not as many spots open, and it seems like early in the game a lot of the green action or the spring actions are taken, or is it spring or summer? So this is spring. The track. Oh yeah, spring. And then at the end of the game, the winter is kind of filled up as well. Mm-hmm. So that part of it kind of, but it also, I think the Tuscany board added a few extra things you can do throughout the year to kind of get a couple more points in other ways outside of just growing the wine or growing the grapes, making it into wine and fulfilling orders, which I find really nice. And then I also like the star portion of the game. I don't know that it's necessarily needed. I think, like you said, the constructions are a little bit of a weaker point in the game. Mm-hmm. They can add a few more things that you can do, which is nice. It adds a couple more ways to get a few more points in the game, which in this game, you're racing to 25, so where's it 30 in Tuscany?
It's one of those. I forget.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's not many points, so every point counts. So I think just having those extra ways of getting points really makes it even better. And like you said, I love the meeples in this game. And the grande worker and how that works, it's very unique. I think I don't know how many other games that's really been used in. I know Pendulum. I'm not sure if other companies or whatever have used it. I'm sure there's probably some out there, but I just really love viticulture. It's got a really wholesome feeling to it. And I don't even drink, and it makes me want to visit a winery and kind of see the whole process itself in real life. So there's not many games that make me feel like, oh, I'd like to, see this type of process in real life. But this one definitely does that.
I wish you could make my list, but the luck of the cards really kills it for me. And it's not something I usually mind, but I played a solo game where you set the automa to like 20 points, and you try to get there in a certain amount of rounds, and they block the spots for you, and I ended up getting 4 points because I just kept getting white vine cards. And the worst part, I forgot to put the Automa's meeples out on the board. So I had no restrictions, and I still only got 4 points.
Ouch.
So that hurt it for me.
Yikes.
Maybe you just got to play it a few more times.
Yeah, we'll get it out.
What'd you say it was on BJ now?
Yes, it's
so maybe you'll get some more plays of it in.
Maybe.
Ooh. Well, my number 9 is a game that both of you have said.
Is it number 9?
It is not number 9. But I feel like you guys gave it less love than it deserves.
Oh, boy.
And
she's about to give us the slaps.
You got a little finicky on things that I don't think really matter to the gameplay.
Oh, boy. She's
Says the woman
really slapping.
who hates having to look into the scenario rules for the crew.
Didn't want to bring the rules with.
Well, there are other things, too. Mr. Dinosaur Island. So, my 9 is Ethnos.
Ooh.
So this is a one that you kind of brought in with Quacks, I think, and it was still towards the newer side of our collection when we started. I love this game. I don't really care too much about the production being not great with the player tiles and the player board. I like the cards. I love their neat abilities. I love picking up the cards. I love putting them down and then scoring them for the grouping that they're in. Mm-hmm. And I will say I'm not a huge fan of the way the game ends with the dragon just randomly thrown in there, but it is a push your luck aspect, which I think makes the end of the game a bit more fun because you're pushing to take the cards that have been dropped and make something work with those as opposed to drawing more cards. And so, I don't know, it's just a great overall game. I feel like I want to play it more. I'm kind of sad we don't play it as much as we used to, but...
We need to play this game. I need to win it once.
So, I don't know. It's a great game. I love the theme of it. It's really fun. I mean, I don't think it really comes through heavily, but it's always challenging to work with the different factions or people groups, whatever you call them. And I feel like there's some that we've played more than often, but each time I feel like there's one that I always really like or appreciate.
Murr,
folk.
I like the orcs or the goblins, whatever they are.
I mixed them all up. But yeah, that was one where I think it was for your birthday we had ordered you that and Quacks and Scoville. And then between that and your birthday, we ended up going to the Dork Den, and you're like, hey, let's try out this Ethnos game. And I was like, oh no, I hope this is good. We already had it wrapped.
Oh boy.
And it was one that I was instantly very happy that I had ordered for you.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think if they came out with a new updated second edition or whatever with that kind of blended together a little better, kind of so better board, and then like pieces that kind of fit more of that color scheme,
Miniatures.
you wouldn't prefer that? Wouldn't make the experience better, you're saying?
I mean,
Slightly better.
if we didn't already have this version, I would say maybe, but I don't know that it really affects gameplay because you're not really.
It's all about the cards. I
the
think.
little pieces cover up the board pretty quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're really not looking at anything other than the colored piece around. I think they could make the areas bigger to accommodate, because I think those little discs don't fit well if you get like more than 2 people going for that area. But otherwise, I don't know that it really matters too much because you really can't see it, and yeah, you just put those little numbers on the outside of the thing. And I don't know how else you would make something, because you need those discs to stack in order to follow along. But I mean, I'd probably prefer a better color scheme and a nicer player board, but I don't think it really affects the play.
What do you mean by player board?
Or sorry, game board.
I'm just imagining some metal tokens.
It would be cool if you could just throw metal, like little something out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
But then I guess it might be a little bit more difficult to count, because with the stack, at least you can tell who's in the lead.
Yeah. No, it's a great pick, and yeah, maybe we should play it after this.
I don't know about that.
Wow, here she goes from loving the game to hating it in 5
I love
seconds.
it, but it's almost bedtime.
My number 9. I'm gonna mix this up a little bit. I'm gonna go out of the order that I initially had it.
Ooh.
Last minute change.
'Cause I'm like, this one, I just feel a little more love for this game than that one. So my new number 9
Is number 9. He
Number
just
9.
had to
is
do it.
number 9. I just had to do it.
It's Ethnos.
I've moved it up. No, this game is another one right back here. Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion.
Wow,
What a debut.
such a shallow game.
I used to make fun of Gloomhaven. I called it Goonhaven. I'm like, what is this huge game, dungeon crawler, whatever that is? This is not going to be for me. And then I ended up watching a playthrough on the Dice Tower where Mike DeLisio couldn't hit a rock. And it just, something about the card play, playing the top action of one and the bottom action of the other card, really intrigued me. And fighting monsters, like I've said multiple times, I like doing that. And there aren't actually any dice in this game. You have a modifier deck, which leads me to my other favorite part of this game is upgrading your character. And you can remove bad cards from your modifier deck, put good cards in, upgrade your actual ability cards. And there's so many different scenarios, so many different monsters. It's so fun. I hope that he liked it, because we played it a couple times.
I did. I enjoyed my plays more than I thought I did, but I had never really looked that closely into Gloomhaven or any of that, just because that was quite intimidating. Just a lot of content in it, and this one, when they came out with it, I saw it just shoot up on Board Game Geek. What is it up to now? Like number 5 or 6?
Number 5 or 6,
Wow.
6 I think.
Which
yeah.
is insane considering it just came. I mean, to break into
Yeah.
that is pretty.
Similar to
pretty
my
amazing.
list.
But yeah, I've only played it a couple times. It didn't make my list yet. It may in the future with more plays. I'm not entirely sure yet, but we'll see. Kind of what you said, those modifiers and stuff. We'll see how that works. But
I think this is definitely a great one. It's got a great tutorial to really get into the Gloomhaven system. I feel like a dork being a Gloomhaven fan. I'm so sorry. It's a great game.
You're letting us down.
he gave in.
like-
So wait, once you get through all this, is Gloomhaven a buy?
I don't know. I feel even Tom Vassell himself said it's going to be hard to go back to Gloomhaven because this has the board in a spiral book. So you just fold the book out, and that's the board. Where Gloomhaven, I think it's more of kind of those puzzle pieces that you put together different boards to form the map, and that just feels like a lot more setup. So I'm hoping for a Frosthaven Jaws of the Penguin or something, so that when I'm finished with this,
the penguin.
We will see the beak of the penguin.
yeah, great game. I think it might even be a dark horse pick for Mac.
Ooh,
If she played
we
it.
will have to see.
You guys have gotten some pretty overwhelming ones lately. We'll see.
This one might
So
also.
say.
This one is definitely a stake game, more of an overwhelming one probably. It is a game that I don't think either of you will have on your list at this point. Because if you would have had it, I think it would have been lower than this. And I'm not sure how you thought about it.
Does this have one really great component?
Yes.
Great.
Does this add about 5 pounds to the box?
Yes. The Iron Clays of Brass Birmingham. Oh man, when I first saw this game or the box of it, it looked like, oh boy, this game is going to be extremely overwhelming. And I was kind of turned off. I had seen on Board Game Geek that it was like one of the top rated games. There's this and then Brass Lancashire or whatever. And I saw they were both ranked really well, but when you saw the cover and kind of looked at the board, I was like, oh boy, that looks really complex and overwhelming.
Yep.
And I don't remember what its weight is. It's probably like a 3.8
6 or something, yeah.
5 pounds. Oh, wow. Yes, that is it. But, and when I first played it, I just really, really enjoyed I think Taylor was the first one I played it with.
Yep.
But yeah, we got a few rules wrong right away, and I think that's what makes it a little more complicated is the actual rule set, and then just a couple of the things are a little kind of tough to maneuver sometimes, but I just find it extremely satisfying to try to create a route in order to build the different buildings and try to score just a ton of points in them, get my money up as high as I can to just keep collecting those iron clays each time, but then also get points, just trying to get those connections made so that I can flip them over to actually score them as quickly as possible too. Kind of just connecting the multiple things together is just an interesting concept, and this is another one where I don't know. I feel like the theme comes through to me anyway, or maybe it's just something maybe the theme doesn't come through, but I really like the setting of the game. I find it an interesting setting. Just old-timey look. That old-timey
So
look.
do these poker chips bother you like the chips do in Ethnos?
No.
Because they're not on theme color.
Well, I think
These are on theme color, I think, a little bit.
they're
but
closer.
they stick out.
Well, they're closer than Ethnos.
Oh.
Ethnos is way different.
Sure, because Brass Birmingham is in a dark color
Well, back in
scheme.
those days, they played a lot of poker. That was their currency back then.
In England?
I thought you knew this,
Okay.
being that English history buff.
Sure, dear.
But no, it's
It's a good game. I really like the connecting of cities and getting all those routes going in to score all of those points, and that really intrigued me, but it is a little heavy for me, and I don't think I'd ever beat you, so...
oh,
that
you
is-
would.
That is...
You would.
So that may be the
Yeah,
reason
and
it
I-
didn't make my list.
And I like how it goes from the canal
Yep.
era to the rail.
Yes, lose all your progress.
I do like how that works. It can be kind of bad when you lose some of your buildings and all of your routes that you had connected to stuff.
Yeah, it can be bad when you lose everything you've worked
But
for.
I think once you've played it more, you kind of know what to avoid in the early game. The first plays, you're definitely going to have that, but I think I will just grow to love it more and more with more plays. It's one of those, just like Scythe, where I think about it after the game as to how I could become more efficient in doing the things in the game. I would not recommend this if you're looking for some medium or lighter games.
No.
I think this is definitely a next level game for sure.
Well, to lighten things up a bit here, after that very heavy game, we have our
In two
first,
ways.
Is this the first pork chop?
we have our first crossover event of the top 10.
Woo!
Not on the same number.
Brass?
Definitely not. It is not a pork chop. It is an Asian cuisine. Sushi Go
I was
Party!
gonna say, it has to be yours because you've already said viticulture and it's not brass.
I totally agree with Jesse. I love this game. I love the replayability. It is beyond cute.
Must own
It's so good.
for everybody.
So good.
Mm.
It's great. It's a staple in the collection, I feel
Yes.
like, at this point. It's
Mhm.
fun.
What's crazy about it is, did I get this for your birthday?
Could be.
Because I think I randomly, it's not random, but like, I'd kind of heard of it, but I had not looked at this. I didn't look at anything for this game, and I was just like, I've heard a lot of good things about this. So I just took a chance on it because I think it was like $20 or something. So yeah, it's really surprising how
And we've
great
taught
of a
it
game
to everyone.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who comes to our house has learned
it was.
Sushi Go Party, I feel like, because it's just
Right.
something we love to take out.
Yeah.
I love to take out.
Mhm. It is
Yeah.
by far, I think, my best random purchase of not looking into it much at all.
You did good, babe.
So was this birthday present actually better? If it was, I think it was a birthday present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that
It was.
actually better than Ticket to Ride London?
Well, it is ranked higher by 2.
They're both pretty good, close. Wow,
And you
I'm
say
doing
you
pretty
don't
good.
do good with presents. Now you
What other
set
ones?
the bar so high.
What other ones have I gotten? They're going to be in her top.
Mm,
Oh wow, she doesn't think highly of the rest of them.
I don't know that you've really gotten me all that many, too.
I suppose the
You buy
Agricola.
ones with me in
Oh.
mind, but you don't typically. I don't think you've gotten me specifically for my birthday. I think
You
you've
like-
gotten some for Christmas.
She might play this, and I would love it.
I think
She might like brass.
you got me Lantern's Dice, I think, for Christmas.
Okay, so the game that just moved up one spot is my very first favorite game.
Well, Dinosaur Island's 47. 48.
Carcassonne.
Ooh.
Oh, it did make the list. We were wondering about it.
You were questioning
I
Carcassonne?
wasn't wondering. I was the one that brought it up. I'm like, well, he hasn't said Carcassonne yet, so I'm assuming it's in his top 20.
Oh my god.
She was questioning it, apparently.
You got no respect for this game.
Got
It's
no
not
respect.
on my top 50.
Stay positive. No, I love for being one of the first games that we played, it was so cool that you build out the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably one of the best developing boards of any game we played. It looks really cool. I love, in one of the expansions, we got a bag that you can pull the tiles out of.
The bag is key.
If you've got that, I'll play your game. If I get to pull something out of a bag, except Orleans, if I get to pull landscape tiles out of a bag, very specific, I will do it. And I love, there's so many ways to score just in the base game. You can score your cities, you can score your roads, you can score your
Cathedral.
cathedrals, yes. And there are so many expansions for this game. We only have 3, and that adds a lot. And I just purchased the rest of them.
I know, and then I saw that the big box with all the expansions was on sale for Prime Day. I was like,
But those are different.
Oh.
Those are different
Those
mini
have
expansions.
like 3 big expansions and a couple mini ones.
Okay.
We might have to get those possibly
Yeah.
in the future.
Can't keep up with that.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing those expansions, because this is one that he has moved on from. At least I thought. I was surprised it was in his top 50. So now I'm excited to get him to play it some more.
No, I think this still is probably my favorite of our first 4 or so games that got me into the hobby. I do really like Ticket to Ride too, but I think this one is just slightly edges it out. Number 8. I can't remember if you've said it yet.
I probably
I know
haven't.
she has.
Hmm.
And there's an expansion that you said you need to have with it. I'm fine with the base game, but the expansion is really nice and it adds a lot of good gameplay to it. And that is the Clacks of Quedlinburg. And I think the bits definitely are what got it to this position. It would not have been number 8 if we didn't have the bits, because that just adds so much to the game. It just gives it, you hear the clattering of the bits against each other. It just adds a little bit.
Good job.
Again,
Good job.
he wanted to put them in coin capsules.
And we don't usually get that many upgrades for games.
Well, I'm starting to now.
We're starting to see a trend in that.
But
But yeah,
That was
we
one of
hadn't
the
typically
first.
got it, but that was one of the first, and I would say, well, I don't know for all games, but I would say this is probably
one of
the
the best.
one. If I could only get one upgrade to a game,
It's a must.
this would be the one. Even over metal coins.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
This
So-
is a must.
If
Because
you
you
like
will like
Clacks that
this
much.
game, and you will want to play this game, and you will need pieces that will hold up to the gameplays.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just love I love games where you can, like I said, where you can have different, have the things the chips do different things depending on which books you have out there, so they can either score differently or do slightly different things depending on which one you're playing with. I just love to be able to change it up from game to game, and yeah, the Push Your Luck this is probably.
The mo. Or,
Yeah, this is my favorite Push Your Luck game by far. I think.
Not that many games left.
That's why
Is
I
this?
want to make sure. I'm like, I don't think there's any Push Your Luck in
I'm going
the.
to make a case that every future game is Push Your Luck.
But no, it's a solid game. I definitely deserved the Kinderspiel award, and then I think the expansion is one of the best expansions we have as well.
Yep.
All right. Well, number 7 is a new game for us this year. I think we got it maybe at Christmas, maybe a little bit before. I can't remember because I think it took us a while to get it unboxed and then to the table. But it's been one we've been playing since getting it unboxed. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad we have it.
You already said Red Rising.
It's great. It is Hadara.
Oh, wow. I did not see that coming.
That was not what I would have guessed. Wow, you could have given me 15 guesses at that, and I would not have gotten that.
What would you thought?
Well, I don't know what I would have thought, but I would not have thought that.
It's. I don't want to give away my favorite game of the year, but it's the highest ranked new game I have. So, I love it. I think it's so unique to get the cards to figure out your money situation, take a card, buy a card, sell a card, figure out your statues. You want to go up on the red track, you want to go up on the blue track, you want to go up on the green track. How are you going to make this work? Then the fact that there's 2 eras in every epoch, I think it is,
Something
where
like
you
that.
get to do, income.
You're taking the card.
The cards and the way that the cards land, and then you get to buy. Like, so cool. I love it. It's so much fun to play, and I've won it quite a bit, but I wouldn't say that's the
not
reason.
not enough to knock it down.
I wouldn't say that's the reason it is where it is. But I've lost, and I've also just had so much fun playing it. And so, and I think it's up here because at higher player counts, it's still a really good game. Maybe even better?
I was gonna ask that. We finally played it with like 4 players versus a lot of times we played it 2, and I think it is better with more because
You get
it allows
so many
you
more options.
you get way more options at cards,
Yep.
and you can actually start to possibly really chain together longer chains of whatever color you're going for because it makes them cheaper and cheaper as you go along.
Yeah, so just really great. I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I enjoy it. And it definitely deserves to be high on the list. am shocked. I didn't think you liked it that much.
They think I have no taste.
Wow.
They think I got no care for these good games. I'll show you. I'll show you all.
Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I was just... I've only...
They're speechless. They're shocked.
I am. I'm happy that I'm shocked. I couldn't believe it, because I was looking, I was trying to find out what games were in your guys' top 10s, and I was looking at that one, I'm like, you know, that seems like a game with a lot of potential for, I think, each of our lists. I've only been able to play it twice, and that was 2-player games each time, but I really wanted to play it more, and I think it could definitely have made my top 50 if I had.
Love it.
Nice.
My number 7.
pick.
Oh no.
My number 7. This one, I had to put this one in this spot.
Is it a dueling game?
It is a dueling game, and it completely kills its predecessor. 7 Wonders Duel. I played 7 Wonders. I wasn't impressed. It felt pretty basic to me. Draft cards, whatever. Some fighting, which I've said I like fighting in combat a lot. And that wasn't that interesting to me. In this one, it is a lot more interesting. It's a tug of war. You're buying the cards.
I could not agree more with this choice. It's beautiful.
It
It's
is-
beautiful. Good job, Pepper.
It is an amazing game. And I think it's Bruno Catala. It's his influence. I did not know that he had designed this game, so I went into it with low expectations because I didn't like 7 Wonders. And I played it, and I loved it. I'm like, what? This should be the same guy. And I looked, and there's Bruno. And I'm like, that's why I love this game. I love to shoot the moon. That's just so fun to win and be like, we're not playing anymore. I won the game. I pushed the military to your side. I got the 6th symbol. The drafting, which drafting in 2 players usually doesn't work, but they do it really well here, where as you take cards, more cards are revealed. Sometimes they were face down, and I think that's a good way to do that. Very exciting when it's like, do I want to take this card, reveal 2 cards for them, even though I really want this card? And especially near the end, when that, if it reveals what they need,
Right.
that
could
could
end
win
the game.
them the game.
hmm
Yeah. I can't recommend this game enough. I think this is my favorite 2-player game.
Yeah, I haven't played the original 7 Wonders enough. I think I probably like it probably more than both of you.
Probably, because
But yeah, I think
agree with
I now that I've played 7 Wonders Duel more, I think I prefer that over 7 Wonders from what I remember of it. But yeah, it didn't end up making my list, but it will probably be rising. I was gonna say, if you hadn't said that that was like your last newish one to you, I would have thought that 7 Wonders Duels was still coming up on your list because you brought up the fact or asked if I wanted you to buy it on Prime Day, which made me think she must at least like it a little bit.
Yeah, the only reason it's not in my top 50 is because we've only played it twice. And both times I've won, and I've liked it both times, and I think it's a good mental workout. You know, it's for me. But I just haven't played it enough to really feel like I can confidently say more
And I
so
think
than some of these other ones.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a similar feeling here. I think it could go up on my list.
Yeah. Luckily for me, it was on Board Game Arena, and that does all the math for you too. So that's easier for me. And you get to play against some of the best in the world on there, and
Some of the best.
myself
Z
included.
Garcia is on there.
Damn right, and I whooped him.
I wouldn't doubt it. Well, that's a good pick. My number 7 pick has been mentioned by you, but it's kind of 2 games. Raiders of the North Sea and Raiders of Scythia.
Raiders of the North Scythia.
Pretty much. No, it's a Garfield game again, which pretty much any Garfield or
like,
Stonemaier game.
Take my money!
Or Stonemaier game
Just take it!
pretty much has its.
If Shem and Jamie could team up to make a game,
It'll
he
suck.
would die
I
instantly.
know when Zach walks into the living room with his phone and he goes, "There's a new board game." I'm like, Shem? Garfield? Jamie? Who is it? How
No,
much are we paying?
I just love their games, so that yeah, I have to keep track of when they're releasing these games. I need to know when I'm gonna have to buy. But yeah, I really loved Raiders of the North Sea, and I had some hesitations about playing Scythia as well, kind of the same as you. At first, I thought the art was like, I don't know that this is necessarily better art, but like you, I came around to the art after playing it. It just actually worked. I think it's mostly because I like the Miko's artwork, but since it's
We've
in
seen so much
the
of
West Kingdom as well, it feels. I don't know if I'd say stale, but it just feels like it's very samey. So seeing something new in a game, in these games, is just kind of some fresh air to that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I prefer Scythia right now too. We'll see what the expansions do, but yeah, splitting up the board is a good thing. But yeah, I wish. It's tough because that's what makes it so easy to see the different spaces, but at the same time it makes the board look a little messy.
Yeah.
Since you have the areas kind of just not really meshing together very well. But yeah, it plays very similarly where you lay a worker, pick up a worker. Love worker placement again. And this one, yeah, I like the combat or rating system better than that one. I was fine with the Valkyrie system, personally. I enjoyed it and kind of trying to think of when do I take my shot at this one that might have like 3 black things, but then you lose pretty much your entire crew. I do like that about it. But this one, I also like the different dice that can give you wounds, but yeah, depending on which area you go to, you roll slightly different dice and allows you to hit better and whatnot. And the eagles and horses just add that little extra that are just really awesome. It's an amazing game. I would have to recommend, if you're going to buy one of them, I would have to recommend Raiders of Scythia if you're not getting expansions.
Yeah. Because this includes a lot of the expansion material from North Sea to the base game.
It kind of includes that stuff. But does not have the metal coins, I don't think, in just the base. You'd have to buy those separately. So if you want a game with some metal coins, then Raiders of the North Sea is the game.
All right. Well, my number 6 does not have metal coins, but it does have something shiny.
Shiny?
Shiny!
Shiny.
It is a jungle adventure game.
Ooh.
It is Karuba.
The one
Bingo!
The one she cheated at.
Okay, the first time I cheated at it unknowingly. So is that even cheating? That's just innocent.
She's just a better
Innocent
explorer than
bystanding.
you. She can run and pick up diamonds.
It takes multitasking. Everyone knows women are good at that.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's a good game. It's probably only going to be on my list. But it's a good one. I mean, we were introduced to it a couple years ago when we were still kind of newer into the hobby, I think. And we've taught it to everybody, and it's so accessible, I think. You really are just playing tiles, moving your person, trying to get them across the board. I will say it doesn't probably have a lot of replayability. You're playing with the same tiles. There's a limited amount of places that you can put your people on the beach and the temples in the jungle. But I think it stays up there because it's not one that we play that often. And when we take it out, I'm just always having so much fun playing it. And for me, that's just really important. At the end of the day, I really just want to enjoy the games that we play. And so if this was one we'd be playing every day, I'd probably be like, I'm good. And not that it wouldn't be fun, but I just don't think it would have as much of a draw to it as it does for me now. So I really like this one. I'm really glad we have it, and glad we could teach it to others who like it as well.
It is a good pick.
That is another great game. My number 6, finally, I think you guys have been waiting for this one. You've been waiting for a lot of these. A game that you do not appreciate. You appreciate it a decent amount. And that is The Isle of Cats.
Wow.
And you said that this Isle of Cats has Terraforming Mars card drafting. I say Terraforming Mars has Isle of Cats card drafting.
Wow. Okay.
There's
I suppose you have to pay for him.
yeah.
Mhm.
I love that's right up there with Seven Wonders Duel drafting for my favorite type of drafting, where you can take them with no worry.
Mhm.
But then you have to decide at the end of the round which ones you actually want to buy, which that makes it relieves me a little bit for my analysis paralysis. I can just wait and I'll be like, I'll figure that out later, what I want to buy, what
Mhm.
money I want to spend. And speaking of money, it gives you 20 fish at the beginning of each round, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
I don't have to have an income
Mhm.
or upgrade it or
Make
anything
sure
like
you
that.
Have something to spend.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. And the drafting, I like the end of game scoring cards. There are some that I think are overpowered and can really suit how you're playing at the time, but once you get to know what cards are in there, you can really prepare for what's going to come up.
Mhm.
And I love the artwork. I love the tiles. They are great thickness. I used to say they were the best quality tiles that I've ever played with, and I think they may be tied with a future game coming up here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I love the drafting of cats, the different shapes, the polyomino. So many good parts to this game.
Mhm.
I love it.
It is a great pick. I will admit it.
Me too.
I believe her.
Wow.
The
Well, my number 6 has some thick tiles. Has some nice thick tiles.
Oh,
Square tiles.
square.
I don't know.
Glenmore 2.
Oh.
I think I love this one a lot more than these two, for sure. I don't know what it is about this game. I just love
You
building
win it
my
every
little...
time.
What's that?
You win it every time.
Oh, I just love building out my
Love
thing.
winning.
Wow. And then having to... the rondelle in it,
Yep.
just having to pick how far you want to go, what tiles you need. You know, you may really need this tile, but then you're skipping, 4 tiles and allow your opponents to possibly pick up multiple tiles behind you. I just always love that in games when you're able to do that, and this one just goes around and around, and just deciding if you want to add more tiles to your little tableau, which if you have more than your opponents, you lose points, so you don't want to make it too big.
Always a fun thing in games.
But at the same time, you get to trigger, as you add these pieces, you get to trigger everything around it, which is really satisfying.
I just
in
want to say
games.
now, I love the rondelle. I love the triggering of everything when you place the tiles. And I approved you getting this game because I had watched a playthrough online. I'm like, this could be one of my favorite games. But I found the scoring a little lackluster, as well as some of the chronicles weren't that interesting to me. So I'd love to have it higher, but that coupled with you winning every game,
Wow.
have
Scoring
knocked it
is
out.
so stupid.
No. The scoring is awesome. You just got to try to get as many coins throughout the game as you possibly can. And then, yes, the scoring is a little strange, but it kind of allows you to not just focus on one thing,
It
but
eats
then
my soul.
once you get it far enough ahead in something, then you can kind of shift your focus to something else to kind of either catch up or pass people in that as well. I just really enjoy that, and then the special powers of some of them, or when you take certain tiles, you get a card that gives you the ability to do something, and then the additional little track when you take the different people tiles. Being able to take bonuses on that is also something that I really enjoy, and that's a way to take a tile but not actually add it to your tableau.
Yep.
I think those are really nice, and I like the modules. We haven't done all of them,
No, we haven't.
but I like the fact that you can try to add them
I
in
like
if you
them,
want.
and maybe that's better, but I don't feel like there's any that I would have to play with every game, and maybe that's better.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think it needs it. I still love just base Glenmore 2. It is awesome.
It is awesome. I'm sad that it's not on my list.
Okay, well, we're at the halfway point here. And
We got 50 more games to go, Mac.
number 5 is one both mentioned by you both mentioned. I obviously love it the most. Because it is number 5 and It's a Wonderful World.
Ooh, I knew this one was coming.
Yeah. Great game. Like you guys have said in previous videos, it really is just purely engine building. It's so much fun to get your cubes, have the most cubes. That's always really satisfying producing in your little production line.
Getting those
there.
extra people.
So I just, it's so fun. It's so pure, and I think that's what keeps it so high for me. Is just that it's a great production, but it's not a lot of flash. You're playing, you know what you're doing. You're playing a game, and what you have in front of you is what you're working towards, and it's fun to draft things and see what others take. But it doesn't really matter too much if they can't complete it or if you can't complete what's in front of you. And so I just love it. So simple, so clean after some of these that are just so overwhelming, and so it's just a nice refresher that you can have something that's, still mind-boggling or mind-stretching, whatever, but without, 25 different rules and 18 meeples and their cards and dice and tiles and everything else.
I totally agree. That's why I had it ranked so high as well. I think it's just insanely clean. There's nothing I can think of in the game that ever feels like a hang-up. It always feels like there's flow. It never feels like you ever get stopped by anything.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely one of the most pure games we have. My number 5, top 5 of all time. By your logic, I like this game more than each of you.
Oh boy.
I like my logic.
Well, I think I liked the game that I just said, Glenmore 2, more than both of you.
You did. You do for
Probably.
sure.
I do for sure. Wow.
It's not bad. It's just...
This used to be my number 2 game. I always felt of it as a right-hand man to my number 1 game. But now,
God. Just keep going.
But now I've played so many more new games, and I haven't played this one in a while. It's fallen down a little bit. The Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Oh. You said right hand. I thought you meant tutor. I was like,
Oh,
my
no,
gosh.
Number 5.
What?
No, I like Tutor, but no, that is not number 5.
Right hand.
Quacks of Quedlinburg, obviously. The upgraded bits are amazing. And
Would it be number 5 without him?
Yes, I think so. I love the push your luck. Mac likes to say she doesn't like push your luck, but half her games are push your luck. But I, for one, love it. And all of the insane amount of combinations of abilities, which I don't. I mean, you are trying to go further and further along the track, but I don't feel like every game is the same. But I could see how it could feel like that, where the end game is the same. But not only do you have that, you have the event cards between every round. In the expansion, you have those one-time use witch cards or whatever they are. And there's just so much to this game. And it is an easier one to get into. It, in a way, once you buy the chips, they play themselves.
Right, they do.
Yeah, it's a great pick. That's why I had it at number 8. I agree with everything you said. Good choice. It does deserve top 5. But I think I have this next game ranked higher than both of you. I'm not 100% sure, I guess, because neither of you have said it. But I'm just guessing. So it's another game that I'm going to have to play by myself.
What would it be?
We don't have the game.
Oh, Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars.
Oh.
I'm so glad I got the app for this game because I never get to play it. Your brother owns it.
Well, we get to play it.
We get to play it sometimes,
It's like
but
a
not nearly.
staple for game nights.
Not nearly as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
So I love this game. There's something I love the drafting of cards, like you said, and having to pay for them. It makes your hand get quite tight in the middle to late portion of the game, or else you're cash. You kind of get one or the other. You're either going to buy all these these 4 cards that you're getting, or you're going to have more money. It's kind of, you have to have a balancing act between cards you already have, your money for the round that you produce, and the cards that you can buy. That's a similar drafting thing to Isle of Cats, like we said, and then just the going out and actually terraforming Mars, adding the lake tiles to the board, adding the greeneries and the cities. Oh, it's just so satisfying to try to just play as many as possible or get production. I feel like I try to get something different in most games for production, whether it's like heat or energy or my gold production or my plant production. Just kind of trying different strategies to see kind of, well, if I can quickly get up to 6, 7, 8 plant production, how many greeneries can I get out on the board?
Yeah.
And what can I do with that? Or if I just get a ton of heat, can I just keep raising the temperature and getting my rating up, or points basically at the end of the game? I just love how it all comes together and the different awards you can buy. Oh, it's just so satisfying.
I don't like the awards.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to get this one and you're going to score it.
Wow, you guys are wrong.
And
you guys are wrong again.
The worst part is some of the cards is like,
The
oh,
worst
what's
part-
this?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
it needs this requirement. We're long past that. This
Oh.
can't be played.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen an Isle of Cats where, oh,
You just insert
play
yourself.
no cats along the edge of the board.
I didn't sing anything.
I'm talking to him. Oh,
That's
play
true.
them down, fill out the center.
Well, you should know
might-
you should know what cards are in those modules.
Oh, you know what cards are in Terraforming Mars. You can't.
don't.
Okay, you would not be able to fulfill all those requirements for Isle of Cats if you got a random card. You couldn't focus on every single one. Yes, you could
No.
know what is out there.
But there's usually an opposite to each card. There's don't play any on the edge, but there's one surround the edge of your boat.
But you don't know which ones are going to come out.
You'll get it.
It's the
It'll
same
work
thing.
out.
It is the same
It'll
thing.
work out.
Boys.
It's not literally unplayable though.
Wow.
Okay, well, I don't.
Well, you don't
feel,
have to buy it.
I don't feel that
Sometimes-
negatively towards terraforming Mars.
Sometimes I feel like
To have a literally unplayable card.
yes, okay, it sucks if you're getting a free card. That sucks. I'll admit
Yep,
that.
Yep.
But I think it's nice when you're doing the drafting to not have to buy that card.
Yeah.
Like if it gives you a freebie, pretty much saying, "Well, there's no reason for me to buy this." It helps you save cash.
Yeah.
I think.
It's good for you. It's a good game. I like some parts of it. What you got,
Alright,
Mac?
Well,
never
my
get to play any
number
of
4
these games.
was
You said you got the app. Good for you.
My number 4 was mentioned by Zach in our first video, in somewhere after his top 50, I think. And that is Lanterns, the Harvest
Oh.
Festival, for me.
I was getting worried. I'm like, is Lanterns Dice gonna be higher than Lanterns?
No, you silly boys. Lanterns is great. I love this game. It was one of those first ones that you had brought home. It's beautiful. I love planning my hands around the cards. I love getting a double lantern. Sometimes that just works out so great. I hate it when it works out for Zach 6 times in a row like it did last time, which was heartbreaking and crushing to the soul. But I still won, got close to winning. I don't remember what the outcome of that game was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, we'll just say I won. So, yeah, it's so great. It's one I love to break out. I love playing it with Zach. I think 2 players is great. It's decent at higher player counts. I think I don't think it hurts it too much, other than the availability of the lanterns probably being less. So that's something extra to factor into the game when you're playing it with a higher player count. But just beautiful,
It's such a good looking game.
Mm-hmm.
just lovely.
Yeah, made my list. It's a good game.
You got a lot of good games early on
I know.
in this hobby.
Very.
We are very fortunate.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it definitely kept us in the hobby with so many really great games.
Yeah, if you had brought home like more games like 5 Tribes, we would not be sitting here today in front of all of you.
Never
lovely
mind,
people.
bad pick, ugly game. No, that's a good pick. Good pick.
All right, Pepper, what's your number 4?
My number 4. How many games better than Dinosaur Island are we at this point?
44.
Supposedly, because I'm pretty sure it was 47. It's dropping. It's still dropping. It might not be on the list by the time we're said and done.
My number 4 is, well, it's a game you've dreamt about, Mac. It's Clank Legacy.
Wow, dreaming about this game.
Oh, I'm never going to live that down.
And I'm never going to live down Dinosaur Island, so get ready. This is our first campaign game that we
Legacy
played,
game,
or legacy game, and it was such a unique experience, changing the board, putting stickers on the board, putting stickers on cards, ripping up cards, fulfilling quests. It was a blast, and I did end up winning that legacy,
Okay.
so that bumped it up a little bit.
Really should have been me, but that's fine.
And other than that, the art on all the cards, there's some humor in the art and the names as well, which I don't always get the references, but I know there's something there. But I really think it's a beautiful game, and the artifacts especially, I love the look of those.
Mhm.
And the whole Clank system of pulling cubes out of the bag is...
Terrifyingly fun.
It is terrifyingly fun. That's the perfect way to describe it. And this is just by far the best implementation of deck building. It's not bare bones at all like Dominion. It really, you use the cards for, maybe they have a special ability, they let you move, they let you attack monsters, they let you buy cards. It's so good and so fun. I love it.
Mhm. That is a great pick. I loved it.
And you got it. We got to mention when he gets a game for our birthday. That one was for my birthday. Thank you. Well done.
I'm pretty good at doing that, I guess. It's a great game. My number 4. Michaela did not want it on my list. She just told me before this list. Is After the Empire.
Wow.
I love this game.
Gosh.
It's a new game to me. Very new. Only 3 plays in, and I just absolutely love it. It might be
We
overhyped.
literally just filmed our first impressions video yesterday.
it might be a little hyped at the moment, but
You boys
I
and your hotness.
I wanted a tower defense game just because I just loved it as a electronic video game type thing. But in board gaming, that is just hard to do. I think this does it perfect, and it's also got worker placement. And I don't have anything else to say. It's just a great game. I love the production of it. That is
so good.
great as well. But it definitely...
You'll come around.
I love the stained glass back of the cards, like you said you did as well. But no, it's a great game. I love it.
Not a long
It's a perfect tower defense game.
If that's what you're in the market for. I don't agree, but we'll see. I had a bad first impression, and it's not really likely for me to change that, but
Wow.
we'll see. I might play it again. It's not one I'm going to rush to get back to the table for.
Sad.
You guys have each other. All right, number 3. We're getting down to it. We're on the podium. My bronze medal is one that Jesse mentioned, I believe, last time, and that is Spas.
Spas.
Wow,
She's
got this one high.
Back on my good side.
I really love it. I love that you get rewards whenever your dice get rolled on other people's turns. I love flipping them. I will say it's hard for me to rank this game because there are aspects to this game that I'm not a fan of. Like some of the cards I just don't think really matter or work, or you really need to bother with them. I feel like some of them are just not that, unless you want to flip something, just buy something cheap and whatever. But I feel like you can win with like the most basic of cards if the dice are rolling in the right way.
'Cause, yeah, you can just keep flipping your early cards, get a ton of money, and buy points.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so I feel like there's multiple ways to win this game. I tend to stick to like a couple different ones. Not the maybe at some point I should challenge myself a little and see if I
I
can
know
go
his
for
strategy.
I like to
Harder
go all or
ones.
nothing. That's probably why it
Pack the 11s and 12s.
doesn't rank as high for me, but
It's
still
really,
a good game.
It's really quick, and I think if I look back through all of the games that I've ranked, the ones that really pull me in are ones that I'm engaged the entire time we're playing. It's not. It's now it's your turn, and I can just sit here for a minute. So those are really the ones that I feel like really get me into the game, into the hobby, and the fact that it's constantly rewarding is another plus. For me.
Rewards, thank you.
Yeah, because it just keeps you going. It's just like look, I'm moving up, or whatever, and I think that's just it's so strong for me.
Mhm.
Great pick. My number 3, it is this high, Bunny Kingdom.
Wow,
I said that
can't believe he likes it more than you.
after the Empire had my favorite card backs, but I think this probably has my favorite art in
On the
any
cards.
game on the
Oh.
cards. There is so much unique, adorable. This might even be more adorable than Sushi Go Party.
Ooh, those are
No.
fighting words.
Blasphemy.
It's pretty close though.
It is pretty close.
Some of them are really the same though, like anyone that's a wood one.
Oh yeah, there's
Or
that.
not
But
one.
but the parchments are the main ones that
True. Yeah,
that really
I'll give you that.
they really build the world, and they could have gone super cutesy with this,
Mhm.
and they did go very colorful and cutesy, but it still feels a little grounded.
Mhm.
Some of those bunnies have got scars. And
I know.
they're
Yeah.
huge. Got their little
Fighting
kilts.
for their
So-
freedom.
What is the one, the soldier? He's got his like sword up and he's got his leg on a log or something. It was like something with thieves. I don't know.
Yeah, just so much great artwork, and the board. You say it gets too busy sometimes and hard to see things. I haven't had that problem. Maybe I just have better eyes than you.
Wow.
But I really love how the board develops throughout the game, similar to Carcassonne, how you get your castles and resources and bunnies out there and how that changes. And so many unique parchment cards to score at the end of the game. Like you said, you can rack up 100 points in that. And the expansion just adds even more great cards. And I feel every turn, till maybe later in those rounds where you're left with nothing, almost every turn you're getting really good cards. And I love to get good stuff.
That is a great pick.
Good stuff.
My number 3 is also a card-driven game. This game you've both already had on your list, and you had a crossover on the number, and you guys were both wrong about where you had it rated. And you had it rated at 25, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was Dominion. I'm like, what?
I don't remember. Oh, it's Wingspan.
Wingspan! Fly, birds, fly! Oh, I love Wingspan. This was one that I was looking at getting for, I don't know, 6 months to, I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt like a long time. It was probably only 6 months, but it felt like it was a year or
Probably
so.
2 months.
It probably was. But I was like, but at that point, it was still
Yeah, out of stock.
pretty much out of stock everywhere, which really kind of sucked. But over this time, I had got extremely hyped on it, so I thought, it could only be a letdown at that point.
Yep.
But then, it was the first time I'd actually went to a friendly local game store in the area, and they actually had a copy of it when it was like pretty much sold out,
Talk
like
about a
almost
good first
everywhere.
impression.
I remember
Good first
that.
impression.
You were like, I can't find this anywhere. Should I buy it? And I was like,
Right.
sure.
And I think at that point on like eBay and stuff, people were selling copies for like
Should I buy it?
$100, like twice what it was there.
Yeah, I remember
and I was
that.
just like, who
'Cause I
knows
told
when
you
it'll
we
be
should
in print.
just buy it and sell it on Amazon.
Right. But we did not.
We wouldn't do
luckily.
that to you, Jamie.
But oh yeah, and then when we played it, I just absolutely loved it. I loved how it all the engine building aspects of it, how it all worked out. Early on, especially it seemed like the egg row was kind of powerful towards the end of the game, and you just kind of maybe do that over and over again. But as there's been a couple expansions, and I've gotten to know the cards a little bit more, you can find different strategies, I think, to make your end game a little bit different from game to game. And I just really love the artwork on all the cards. I love that it has little facts on each of the cards.
I'll
I find
get
that
around
really
to reading one of these games.
I find that, really interesting. I love the different powers that the birds have. And I also really love the fact that they're going to continue to support the game and get all the a lot of the birds from all the different continents.
Every bird in the world.
So, I look forward to that, and I just love this game.
Yeah, that was one that, after all the hype, when we eventually got the game, I was like, with all this hype, this is going to be way too much for me. And I was amazed at how approachable it was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. So
How many
good.
times have we played? We played it like 3 times in a row right away.
Yeah.
I remember getting sent like a video of you guys or a picture of like the birdhouse or something.
The dice rolling.
Yeah, I was like, oh boy.
Ooh.
So my number 2, it was shortly, I guess shortly is relative, but it was after Wingspan. I remember distinctly being out on the balcony of our old apartment, and Zach comes out and he says, so the creator of Wingspan has another game he's doing and we can pre-order it, and it's gonna be like $100. And I'm thinking, $100?
Publisher?
Yeah. I was like, $100 for a board game? I was like, oh, I mean, you like Wingspan, I guess it's a good production. Go ahead and whatever, and you did.
You sure that wasn't that at the cabin? No,
No, that was at our apartment.
that was Pendulum. Sorry.
Yeah.
Way to ruin the story, Zach.
Yeah, wow, just, gosh, terrible. Terrible. I've said something up, and he's just like,
And that game was... Wait a minute, Mac.
and that game that we so brilliantly just set up
What game is it?
is Tapestry.
Oh boy!
It's
Wow. Now I know what this makes your number 1, and I am shocked.
this game is like almost the opposite of everything I've said throughout my entire top 50 of what I like and dislike. So it's really cool that it's at the top because it proves that, you know, there can be things you don't like, and if they're mixed just right, they make something you really like.
It gives us hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'd just tamp that down, though, if I were you. It's a great game. It's so cool. I will say I do struggle with it still at higher player counts, just because it can get a little dicey on the board, and the race is a little bit more... What are you glinting at me for?
It's just I'm trying to realize. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Trying to think if she said a certain one before. I don't think she did. I don't... You can go ahead.
Go
Have I
ahead.
forgotten a game?
Nope.
So, it's great. It's beautifully produced. I love the mats. I think it took me a while to get into the game. Although I did win 3 times in a row when we first played it, like over a weekend or something. And then I kind of had to take a step back in it because I just really felt like I wasn't there. And I've started to rebuild that strategy or confidence that I had when I originally played it. Just kind of understanding it better. So, just so cool. I don't even know how to describe it. There are so many things going on that it's... I'm sure someone else could describe it better later on.
I don't know if we'll get the chance.
Yeah, there's only a couple left here.
Uh-huh.
So you mentioned $100 game. How about $200+ game?
Wow, I'm shocked. This isn't your number 1?
This I knew would be the only possible game in the foreseeable future that could dethrone my number 1. But it hasn't quite done it. And this number 2 is Dwellings of Eldervale.
Wow.
Zach had sent me a video. I watched it. We weren't sure about it. Then there was like kind of a last little selling of the extra copies. So I went back, watched it again, and I fell in love with the game. It was a beautiful production, a very beautiful production, which convinced me to go all in on the game and get all of the minis, all of the upgraded bits.
Did you tell your mom
That's-
before you put it on the credit card?
the sound bases.
The sound bases even, which I didn't think we needed, but that does add to the game. And these are the tiles that I think,
Oh.
if it's a
I figured you were
$200
gonna-
game, it should be really good cardboard, and this is really good cardboard, and really good colors. And it is worker placement even, but it's worker placement / area control / turn those workers into houses. Which is a little bit of a gimmick, but it really goes with the game, putting those little hats on your
They get
meeples.
cool little roofs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Fighting a monster, being able to control a monster. I think you might have some more to say about this game, so I am just going to stop talking there. Amazing
Do you
game,
think-
I love it.
Are you guys gonna crisscross?
My number 2 is also Dwellings of Eldervale.
Oh boy.
And I agree with everything you said. It's an amazing game. I am so glad you got it all, because even the sound bases add just a little bit more to that game.
And I was even able to win a little dice tray.
There you go, from your great videography skills.
Great video on Instagram.
But no, I totally agree. This one could eventually challenge for the top spot. I was still a little hesitant as to whether or not I would like this, because I'd looked at videos of it, but still wasn't 100% sure if it'd be something I'd like or not. But oh boy, I luckily loved it just as much as you, if not more.
Wow.
Fighting words.
Another thing that we didn't mention is the 16 unique factions that I thought they give different abilities for your units, your meeples that you put out on the board, and they really do feel game breaking in how they allow you to move around on the board and take certain actions.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, this whole list, I love when there can be a variable setup and
Yeah, and this has
player abilities.
multiple of those, which is awesome.
You boys.
Wow. So that means our number ones are probably the same. And I'm still not 100% sure on yours. I think I know what it is.
So,
But we might as well say
what
ours, which
are
almost
our-
tied with yours.
Yes.
almost a 3-way crossover on the number. You couldn't do it,
Tapestry.
Matt.
I had to
Tapestry.
be true to myself.
Tapestry.
And we agree. I agree with most of what she said.
Mhm. I thought this was a 10 out of 10 production. Then I played Dwellings of Eldervale, and I'm like, okay, this is a 10. This
Yes.
is a 10. So Tapestry is probably a 9. Those minis are great.
Mhm.
And again, the 16 civilizations in the base game, 10
Mhm.
more in the expansion.
Mhm.
And those don't really, they really change how you play the game. They don't quite break the game like Dwellings does, but these change how you play the game.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. It can determine how you do. Some of them don't as much as others.
Yeah.
There's some that you definitely have to follow a certain thing if you're going to make use of it.
Yep.
And then there's others that not quite as much. And there's definitely some that are better than others. But I guess the way I play this is sort of in a way a beat your own score, even when I'm playing
Yep.
competitively. You know, I like to win, but
He's just so good at the game.
but I mean, I know people don't like this as much because they say it's kind of unbalanced or whatever.
Yeah.
And I will admit there's definitely some things that are stronger than others. And if you get certain tapestry cards with certain civilizations, you're doing certain things, it can definitely be a lot better than other ones. But I
That's
just
fun.
love that. I just love trying to still, even if I have the worst civilization, I want to find a way to still break 300 points. Maybe
Yes.
even 400 if I can.
Yes.
And that is just, the way it all works is just so satisfying to me.
There is this, I have it written down. This is the most satisfying game, and you are always getting things from this. When you go to the next tier, that's satisfying. You've made it farther on the track. You get a landmark. You fill your city, get resources from there, increase your income by taking off your buildings. There's so much to this game. I would actually like a list of achievements that you can accomplish in this game. I think there are so many things you could do.
Yeah, I agree.
A weird note to end that on, but
Well, you heard it, Jamie. We need that achievement list.
Well, that just
what
leaves
is your
little
number
me
one?
And my little number one.
It's gonna be dwellings, right?
This was a Christmas gift from Zach a couple years ago. And it
a
is
couple years ago.
Cartographers.
Ooh, boy.
So my signature flip and right or whatever blank and right wins the day. And I almost put tapestry in the front here, but when I was thinking about it, it really came down to Cartographers is always fun when I play it. Always fun. I never walk away from Cartographers thinking that wasn't fun. I always think, maybe I could have done better, but it's so good. It's so fun for me. Like, I don't know. There's just so much. There's not much to it, but there's so much to it that I love, and I love going from A to B to C to or B to C to D to A. Like, I love planning ahead for that and choosing. And I will say you absolutely need colored pencils for this game.
Yes.
Much like Clax, that's the only way to play it is with colored pencils.
That is the most essential upgrade. We were wrong.
And like even the monsters, I don't mind so much. It's kind of fun. It's challenging, to have something to all of a sudden you need to build around or figure out. It's just one where, like I said, kind of for welcome to. It's something that my brain latches onto and just. It makes sense. It's a good place for it to go and exercise, I think. And so that's why it ekes out over Tapestry, just because this game is more suited to my personality, my play style, and just overall more fun for me on a regular basis. So, both great games, but Cartographers won out the day.
Awesome.
I'm trying to think of what else you guys thought it would have been.
I was actually thinking of you. Did you say? Did I miss it or did I forget? Did you say Western Legends?
No, I did not.
Oh my goodness.
Why are you surprised it didn't make my top 10 of the year?
Alright, well we'll take Western Legends then.
Yeah, these probably last top 20 games, I think, really, for myself at least, describe me. These games are me as a gamer. These are games that even the whole top 50, these are games that I'd be up to play any day. So even though Dinosaur Island is 47 or 48, whatever you say.
Maybe 49 now.
Maybe 49, maybe 100. I'd still be up to play any of these any day.
I would agree.
Shocking.
Whose list do you think was the best? Who had the best top 10 games? I think it was me. Let us know in a
Not a
comment
I think
below.
mine's the most diverse.
Probably.
I think it's mine. But that's a debate for another day.
Oh man.
Because we will see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to enter our giveaway, and don't forget to
Keep
Keep
on
on
nibbling.
nibbling.